Today I'll be presenting with you the supporting facts and details of why Florida's legal driving age should be changed from 16 to 18 years old. So buckle up and get ready for the ride. There are many facts and statistics that support the idea that teens are not ready to drive and are not mature enough at the age of 16. Inexperienced and immature 16-year-olds should not be behind the wheel of a car, and that they are irresponsible and make poor choices at such a young age. For the next few minutes, I'll explain why our 16-year-olds shouldn't be behind the wheel. I would first like to explain a few maturity factors that come into play while rethinking this law. When the big anticipated moment arrives in the 16-year-old's life, they are somewhat too excited and unprepared to get behind the wheel. Parents begin wondering if their adolescent is ready enough to drive at such a young age. According to RMIA.org, driving statistics, the crash rate per mile driven is twice as high for 16-year-olds as it is for 18-year-olds. Why is this so? Teens seem to be so independent and feels that they have reached 16, they should be free. This should not be the case. Teens are far from being mature at the age of 16. According to Allstate Insurance, a teen's brain is still in the development age at the age of 16. The development part, known as the dorsal lateral prefrontal cortex, is critical in problem solving and decision making. Unfortunately, this part of the brain won't be fully developed until the age of 20. But evidence shows that a 16-year-old's brain is far less developed than those of older teens at the age of 18. 16-year-olds also have trouble with responsibility issues. As well as feeling mature at such a young age, young teens also feel that they are responsible enough to take on the ability of driving. According to Primetime Driving, 16-year-olds have a higher crash rate than any other age. This statistic is just one that shows 16-year-olds are too young and far less mature than that of 18-year-olds. Primetime Driving states that 16-year-olds are 3 times more likely to die in a motor vehicle crash than the average of all drivers. Driving is not a right, but is a privilege that brings about a great deal of responsibility. Passengers and other factors can be a disturbance to young drivers such as 16-year-olds who believe they are mature enough and responsible enough. Some distractions and disturbances that cause 16-year-olds to get in far more crashes are passengers, cell phones, radios, and even taking a sip of water or putting on that last touch of makeup are all dangerous distractions. Teenagers, especially 16-year-olds, are easily distracted from these disturbances behind the wheel. Talking and texting while driving has become a huge distraction for the younger teens at the age of 16. Nearly 9 out of 10 drivers have engaged in distracted driving behaviors, such as texting or talking on a cell phone, states USA Today. Studies prove that younger teens don't think texting while driving is as dangerous as driving under the influence, which it is because you're not paying attention to the wheel when you're texting and driving. Studies prove that younger teens, according to RMIA.org, teen crashes increase with one teen passenger and increase double with more teen passengers. So the more teen passengers there are, the more likely there is to be a crash. Not only do young teens become easily distracted, but they also partake in more risky behaviors. Some risky behaviors they partake in is speeding, tailgating, and driving at night are just a few examples of the risky behaviors the young teens make. According to dmv.ca.gov, teenagers tend to take more risk while driving, partly due to their overconfidence and their driving abilities. When a teen is traveling around 15 to 20 miles per hour over the speed limit, the part of his or her brain that processes a thrill is working brilliantly. However, the part that warns the negative consequences aren't working, according to USA Today. There are certain laws and programs being made to help our young teens with driving. There is hope in keeping most of the people safe on the road. Certain laws have been created to help assist teens with driving safety. 16-year-olds aren't allowed to be driving past 11 anymore, and bans about texting while driving have now been developed in 30 or more states. According to Teen Driving Source, certain GDL laws are providing young teens and other drivers with a safer road because of rules that only allow one passenger and no texting until the age of 18. If driving age was brought just 2 2 years older to the age of 18 and not 16, many side events on the road wouldn't occur. As you can see, there are many reasons and supporting facts that support the idea of Florida increasing the legal age of driving to the age of 18. Maturity and responsibility factors are the main issue, as well as distractions and risky behaviors that prove young teens are not developed enough to drive. By changing the age only 2 more years, many lives could be saved and many crashes wouldn't occur. With the increasing driving age, we can save our young teens from missing out on tomorrow.